What's up, everybody? Welcome to another M109 episode. We are going to be replacing the factory headlight with a headlight assembly from Revo Cycles. I put one on a different M109 and was really impressed with the brightness and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and show you what needs to be done in order to get this piece off, get into the headlight, and how to install it. It's not too bad, it's just labor intensive, and this gentleman that has this bike has a full fairing, and so these are going to be in the way of the bolts on the back to take it off. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is there's 4 screws holding this headlight bracket on, and I'm shining the light and trying to point, but right here where my finger is one. It's kind of hard to see. There's one there, and there's 2 on each side. The other one might be covered up by the bracket. Let's see if we can see it. So up there's the other one, and then on the other side there's 2 as well. Once you take those out, it'll allow the headlight to tilt forward. It'll allow the headlight to tilt forward. So I have this rag here, and you can just rest this on here while we loosen everything else up. We have it taken off, and now we need to disconnect the blue and the black connectors. And then this is the old headlight. It had an XK glow headlight in it. And then this stuff, just be cognizant of how everything is routed. And this is on the outside. When you put it back together, this will fit in here. This little tab slides down on top of here. That part's pretty self-explanatory. So we're going to pop these off, and that'll allow us to take the headlight completely off. One thing about these tabs, in case you didn't already know, you got to lift up on them. Usually, you can see the tab right here. Usually on lights and stuff, if you push down, it comes apart. On these 2, both of them, you got to pull up on those tabs in order to be able to pull them apart. So this is the back part of the headlight. You can see the tack there. If you have these kind of pins or these kind of heads on the top here on this piece, what I did was I just took a knife and cut them off flush with the top so that I can take this off, because underneath here, so this is what they look like underneath. You're not going to get that up without messing something up. So basically this is just a push pin. The newer models have an actual push pin that goes through there that you can hit from the top and then just lift it out. So that's what I'm going to replace this one with. This is a 2017. So anyway, we got that piece off, and then we're going to have to take the tachometer out so that we can get this bracket loose. So then we have screws here, here, and then in the back as well, and they're Phillips head screws. So we're going to go ahead and pop those out. So the tachometer and all that, your gauge and everything's held in by these 2 pins, one on each side, and then there's 2 rubber grommets you'll see. So when you put it in, you just slide the wire back behind, and these 2 pins you just push down like so, and to take it out you just pull up, and they're just rubber grommets, so they'll come right up out of there. And then we got 2 more screws in behind here, and then that'll loosen this bracket. So there we have the outer shell taken off, and then all we need to do is take these 2 screws. There's 2 more screws, one, and they're all the way in the back. They're all the way in the back here and here. Take those out, and that'll separate this whole assembly from the outside fairing. All right, so we got the assembly out. You can see how everything sits like that. And once you take those last screws out, just be careful grabbing it by this, because there's nothing holds this assembly to it except for these side screws. and there's a rubber grommet right here. You just hold your light, take and just work it, pull it apart, and there we are, ready to install the new one. So this headlight is from Revo Cycles, and obviously it comes in a bunch. My advice would be, if you're doing this during riding season, make sure you order this light before you start tearing your bike down, because it took about 2 weeks for this to get here, according to the box. It's coming from Taiwan. Let's see what we got. So there we are. And it comes with, I mean, the whole assembly pretty much comes like this. Now on the from the old headlight, you'll need the rubber grommets that fit into these pieces. There's 4 of them. So we'll need to, and there's one here, and there's one on each side here. So we got the grommets back in. You can see, and the side ones have each side is a different size. So the big end, so to speak, goes towards the inside, and the small end goes towards the outside. So big and small, and then the ones on the top, they don't really matter which way they go. They're the same size on both ends. So there we got that. This is, you can put this, this just needs to go to power. It runs a halo, light, and then this just plugs in. So all I did was I just figured out which one of these was power, and which one of these was the low beam, and then I just connected it to that. The difference is this is a stock headlight, and you have a rubber grommet on the top of the light if you're looking at it like that, and you have a rubber one right here. So these are the grommets. They have caps on them, but I had to cut those off because the tabs on the new lights stick way out farther. But we still need to fill the holes in the bracket. So I just cut the tops off to be able to still get them on there. So we got the bracket back on, and you can see what I'm talking about here. So here you have the pin that is longer than the stock one, and here you have that rubber grommet that I cut the top off of. So it still fits pretty snug. There's the other one. The bracket doesn't move around any more than it does on the stock one. So there you have it. We got it back in the bracket, and the back screws on the front part is where the rubber grommets slide over, and then they take the black screws with the washer on them, and that's for both spots that have any rubber. The other spot is this that stays on the front cover. So the black screws with the black washers are used for those as well. Now we put the outer cover back on. And remember, this upper part, these screws got to go in before your tachometer. They just have some metal clips in the back of them. They go underneath, obviously. And then they use these short screws, the short Phillips head screws. And one goes there and one goes there, and then you're good to put your tachometer back on. And down here, obviously, if this slides in, there's a bunch of tabs on the sides. Make sure those are put in properly on the sides on each side. And again, the black screws are the ones that go here, and then the short screws follow suit down there. Tachometers slip back in, and then to fasten the tachometer on each side, you have a hole here, and these take the longer Phillips head screws on the top on each side. All right, on your connector, your new headlight is going to come with a plug in and play, and then this red wire is for the halo that you can see that goes around the outside. you're going to need to connect that to your low beam wire. On your connector that comes out of your bike, the black wire with a white stripe is your ground. The yellow wire is your high beam activate, and then the white wire is your low beam. All right, so we got her installed and looks pretty good. Let's see what happens. That is awesome. See the halo part, and then the three bulbs in the middle. Then when we switch to high beam, the halo goes out and the other three bulbs come on. So low beam, high beam. There we can see it a little better. We got all of them.